Restaurant owner visits his restaurant and the staff was clueless. If you're on the look for an inspiring story that would give you that boost you need to move on with life and work on that dream, you've come at the right spot. At the young age of 10, Poojari started his working life as a general help at a small diner in South Mumbai, India. Poojari's initial monthly wage was mediocre. He only got paid 4 rupees for his endless work from morning to night. However, only a few months after he started his job, Poojari had bigger dreams and his ambitions grew bigger as he was looking for a better role. Hard work pays off, even from the earliest of ages. 2 years after he first embarked on the working life journey, he decided to leave his role and decided to go work as a waiter in the Bombay Port Trust canteen. His new job paid him 2 extra rupees, making 6 rupees per month. Poojari saw this new job of his as a real learning ground. He was able to gain the ability to really understand his customers, what they liked and were able to budget for. Coming from a poor background himself, Poojari was able to really empathize with the customers and understand where they come from. Faithful to his dedication, he proved himself to be a hard worker from the beginning, and that mindset remained with him long after. Working for almost 18 hours a day, Poojari had to attend night school courses in order to continue his education. He gave everything he had to combine money earning with education. He didn't have the luxury of continuing his education without a side hustle to pay for his life needs. He developed an incredible passion for reading and books, and he eventually found himself with an immense collection of over 1,000 books. A few years later, Poojari came across an incredible opportunity. He was approached by a distant relative who asked him for his assistance with a juice and snacks center near the country's electronic hub. It was during his time at this second restaurant working as a waiter that Poojari got to really learn the meaning of what it is to be an entrepreneur and a free-minded businessman. Later that year, he was able to become one himself, starting with nothing more than what he had in hands. Poojari started a makeshift juice stand despite his financial stability, as he could compensate for it with his experience and entrepreneurship spirit. Using nothing more than a small wooden table and a manual juice machine, he started his business selling various freshly squeezed juices. Using a tiny handwritten board, Poojari named the stand Sukh Sagar, which meant Ocean of Happiness. Sukh Sagar became a fully registered brand with astonishing success. His stand even inspired other Sagars worldwide. And believe it or not, Sukh Sagar actually celebrated its 50th anniversary recently. A big portion of its success came from middle and lower middle class customers who appreciated the value for money that Poojari's juices gave them. At this point, Poojari had already made a brilliant brand for himself. He was now frequenting other well-known people, film and glamour world personalities, officials, civil and even government workers. Many of his famous visitors became famous regulars. Poojari had a great shine in the spotlight. After several years since he started his business, Poojari became a real living legend in Mumbai. People respected him to an incredible level and even associated him with the rise of popular street foods, which, thanks to him, were now considered top-class cuisine. Street stand food would now be found in classy hotels. Starting from nothing more than a tiny wooden table, 20 years later, Poojari was the proud owner of 20 Sukh Sagar restaurants across not only India, but the Middle East too. In addition to his restaurant chain, he now had an ice cream factory, a mall as well as a magnificent hotel in Bangalore. Poojari's entrepreneurial spirit and hard work had managed to find 1,000 people's jobs. For someone who comes from a background like his, this was quite some feat. Even though he based his chains off of its Mumbai cuisine, the restaurant chain had expanded into various types of cuisine in different areas across the globe. Sukh Sagar restaurants now offer even vegetarian food in cuisines like Chinese, Mexican, Punjabi, and Italia. Poojari was also able to successfully combine his business in more places than one, offering ice cream in addition to a number of other desserts. In Bangalore, Poojari used his initiative to expand even further. He set up a 4-tiered food court, including fresh bakeries and escalator services. His innovation brought Bangalore years ahead of its time. The popular bread, pav bhaji, was now accessible for all of the Bangalore residents. When he first created the Sukh Sagar chain, he couldn't find a suitable baker that was able to provide the quantity that Poojari's chain needed. The previously used method, which relied on importing bread daily from Mumbai on train, was a big hustle and a lot of time and money were wasted. Luckily, Poojari is gifted and has a solution for every problem. He decided that the most optimal way was to set up his own bakery, and it was soon followed by a milk saucer in order to provide milk for milkshakes and ice creams. The successful entrepreneur found love eventually and got married. His happy marriage is embellished with their 3 sons. All of his children are involved in Poojari's large network. Providing for his family and making sure that they lead a better life than he did was very important to him. He had to ensure that his children didn't go through the hardships he had to experience himself. Naturally, wherever there is success, competition follows. A number of international giants were aware of Poojari's success and decided to set up their own fast food eateries across India. Poojari was not worried as he had already established a strong identity and loyal customers. His shops were still packed at the least likely of times, and he believed the market was large enough for every business to thrive. Even though his success was phenomenal, Poojari dreamed even more. Being the ambitious man he is, he thought to himself, why stop at India and the Middle East? The whole world should be able to eat Sukh Sagar food. To this day, Poojari is in the process of opening additional stores in Mumbai, Bangalore, in addition to other countries such as Canada and the US. As he had started from rock bottom, earning nothing more than 4 rupees a month, Poojari is more than aware of how poverty can affect people. In this respect, Poojari is giving back to the community as much as he can. His goal is to make sure that all children receive the proper education they need and get the chance he was not given. Children need to be in school, learning and busy with education, not worrying about income and working long shifts with minimum wage. Poojari used his considerable wealth to build a big community hall in his own home village, free for everyone. He implemented a number of programs to ensure that children get the educational help they deserve. Furthermore, Poojari also helps those in need with medical payments, paid leave, and even provides starter money to staff members who aspire to start their own businesses. Thanks to his business, Poojari became the acquaintance of an important man, George Fernandez, during the earlier years of Sukh Sagar. Fernandez discovered the rich, beautiful taste of pav bhaji at Poojari's first restaurant. His culinary discovery happened at the end of a very long day of endless taxis. His day, which was nothing but struggle and fatigue, turned upside down at Poojari's culinary delights. Fernandez was the beginning of the creation of an important network for Poojari. Trade unionist leader, Fernandez loved the food served at Poojari's restaurant. Even when he became a major player in national politics, the defense minister remained a frequent visitor and faithful friend of Poojari. It is true that life doesn't offer equal and fair chances to everyone, but hard work and determination are enough to turn the tables and change destinies. Poojari grew up in a very poor family, so poor that he didn't even have the luxury of attending school like his other peers, and had to work long shifts all day long to gain almost enough money to keep his stomach half full. He worked his way up with nothing more than a wooden table and a lemonade, a project that most children in wealthy countries do just for fun in summertime, but one that turned out to be the beginning of Poojari's empire. Where you are born doesn't have to determine where you end up, only you have the power to change that, and what better time to start than right now.